I just unlocked a Ropeflow pattern that I've been struggling to figure out for quite some time, to the point where I was actually avoiding it. I didn't really want to touch it at all. And it was only because of one of my subscribers that requested a video on this particular pattern that I finally cracked the code and unlocked it for myself. A lot of people when they first start Ropeflow really struggle with certain patterns, including myself, due to limited shoulder mobility and dexterity. For certain people, it can feel like you've hit a bit of a brick wall due to that shoulder not being able to move the way you want it to. And because of that tightness and potential limitations going on in that shoulder, you tend to avoid certain movements, which is certainly what I did. This can feel like a bit of a downer sometimes because you feel as though you're sort of stuck to certain movements and you're not really progressing in areas that you would like to. Especially when you start exploring moves like we will today with the alternating underhand back mills. When you first attempt the underhand back mill, the movement is not so difficult when you're anchored on either side. It becomes difficult when we start to coordinate between alternating each side. And this requires a few different levels of the body to work in unison with each other as they transition from one side to the other. Now this is the same principle in all Ropeflow patterns that require both sides of the body, but in particular with the underhand back mill, a stiff shoulder can make the coordination of that movement feel a little bit clunky. So in this video, I'm going to attempt to help you get your alternating underhand back mills just as I unlock them. We're going to go over a few different concepts here that I believe are going to help you with unlocking those alternating underhand back mills. Before we get stuck into the video, I just want to say a huge thank you to all the people that have purchased a rope from the online store. If you haven't already purchased a rope or you're interested, go check out www.theropeflowguy.com. There's a range of ropes on there and there'll be more coming in the future. Now let's get back to how to do these alternating back mills. Coming up in this video, we're going to go over the moves that I think will help you to get these alternating underhand back mills. We're also going to go over body parts and how they work in unison with each other. And then we're going to go over the techniques and exploring different components of those underhand movements and how we can utilize that rope in the best way possible. So before we get stuck into the underhand alternating back mills, I'm just going to go over 3 quick patterns that I think will help you unlock that move. So the first one being your alternating underhand sneaks from side to side, then also your anchored sneak on one side, anchored off, getting this position on one side, and then also on the opposite side as well. And finally, it's a little bit of a tricky move. It took me a while to get with this shoulder mobility, but it will help you with those back mills. Not necessary, but I think it will help, is the underhand boulders. So if you've got all 3 of those moves already, I think that if you're trying to get these alternating back mills, that's really going to help you. If you haven't got those moves, let me know in the comments and I'll do a video specifically on those patterns. So going from there, we want to look at the mechanics of what's going on in the body. So in any Ropeflow pattern, there's an opposite action going on at different parts of the body. So as I go and do a sneaking movement, the torso is twisting to one side, and then as I go to the opposite side with that movement, the torso has to switch the other way. Think about this for all parts of your body. If the wrist is turning one way on one hand, generally the other one is doing the opposite action. So they work together to keep and maintain that tension through the rope. So this is just something to be mindful of, whether it's your feet, your hips, hands, shoulders, the head, they all work in unison with each other, and one is moving one way and generally the other one is compensating by moving in the opposite sort of fashion. So I'm going to try and break this alternating underhand back mill down in the most simple way possible. So what we'll do to begin with is we'll take that back mill and take the same principle as an anchored sneak and just practice that on each side to begin with. And then we'll take those principles and we'll apply that to how to alternate it from side to side. So I'll give you a side on view to begin with. We're going to take that rope. You're going to go into your sneaking position on one side. Now in previous videos on the sneak, which you can find in my community, I tell people to make sure that they try and feel this tension on that middle of the rope. I did this on the previous video as well about mastering the back movements, so you can go check out that video as well. But taking that tension and taking it over to the other side. But rather than doing that with the sneak, we're going to bring that hand up and bring it around the back of the head here. So as I go to shoot that hand up and take that tension over, I bring the hand around here, and this back hand here, the pinky finger is facing in that direction there. So take this back mill, as it goes around to that point, I'm going to bring this hand back here to continue that movement. So you end up with this movement here. So this is just an anchored back mill on one side, and the head is coming from foot to foot. That torso is twisting from side to side there. And I'll show you from a front view so you can see as well. So as we're here, we've got that tension. Now on the opposite side, bringing it up and over. As I get to this position here, torso is facing in this direction now. I've turned here. This hand sweeps behind the back of the head there like you're combing around. And then this pinky finger is facing in that direction. Top hand is facing in that direction as well. So I come around, and then I just, from this position here, I just come back to that initial position over the foot here, come through with a bit of a scoop, and just continue that motion from side to side. And so I'm trying to get that middle of the rope to stay in these parallel lines as best as possible from each side. And that's going to give me a much better back mill. So just practice that on each side to begin with. That's your anchored back mill. Just getting used to that tension on one side to begin with. Then taking that movement, now we're going to alternate it from side to side. So we're going to work out that little tricky bit where you've got to transition it and turn to take it over to the other side. So we'll try and break this down as slow as possible and as simple as possible. So now taking that same movement from there, as I come over into this position here, I want you to try and let that tension in that rope continue through, so it sort of does another rotation around. So give it enough effort and force where when it goes around, it can sort of do a loop around. Getting used to that. Once I understand how that rope goes around, I can then use that force and momentum to then switch it over to the other side. So back mill coming around, that rope goes around. Now what the hand does is, as that tension sort of comes around to this point here with the rope, I'm going to use this hand here and follow it through, which is going to transition it through to this hand here. And so as I transition through, this one comes up, and then I turn over to this opposite direction. And now you can see I've got the hand there ready for the sneaking part, and then this hand comes over and around behind the head here. So now I'll show you that so you can see what it looks like as it comes over. From there, I continue that tension around there. So I'm following it through, and as it comes from that point there, the other hand will take it around, and then I come over to this point here, and then same thing on this point. Now I'm here, I need to continue that rope around on the opposite side, and then switch this hand from here through, becomes the sneaking hand. This hand takes the tension and shoots it back over to the other side there. So I'll see if I can show you that, a few repetitions of it. So here, boom, over, boom. Now my technique's not perfect at the moment. I've only just unlocked this in the last week or so. So I'll try and show you that from a front view now. Here in this position, over, boom, over. You will, if you do have a bit of shoulder restriction, you will have one side that is a bit more limited than the other. But just getting used to this, turning and twisting from each side, and then starting to explore the head position. Maybe you want to keep your eyes forwards and try and get this head over the foot, or maybe you do turn from side to side. You can also play around with the feet there, starting to get a bit of expression through the feet and moving them to compensate those other movements. Now with that underhand back mill as well, what you can do is once you come over to this position here, if I then want to incorporate this into a flow, I could then go to an overhand by turning into this direction, and rather than bringing that tension around to go to the underhand again, I can stay facing this way and maybe come around into a sneak or whatever position I want to go in the overhand direction. Or as I come through to that back mill, maybe I'll go overhand and come back around to underhand. So these are just different positions that you can start to play around with and explore. So hopefully that breaks that alternating underhand back mill down simply enough. If you do have any questions, drop them in the comments. I'll try and answer those questions. If you get stuck on anything, let me know. I'll try and help you out. With a bit of luck, some of those concepts that we touched on throughout the video will not only help you unlock that move, but also go on to help some of your other movements as well. Just quickly before you go, if you haven't already, check out the Everyday Athletes community on the Skool platform. I'll drop the link in the description below for that community, or you can find it in the bio for the channel as well. There's a lot of free follow along content there, a fantastic community, and if you do want to work with me more closely, there is options available there. So I hope you enjoyed this one. If you do get your alternating back mills, tag me on Instagram, and I hope you have a fantastic day wherever you are in the world. I appreciate ya. Have a good one.